Welcome back. Now then, it's time for Eris Chapter 5, Weighing the Dice. I checked my phone again. Maybe now. Nope. Damn. I was with the devil. I really didn't get why they weren't responding anymore. It was slightly worrying. Part of me wanted to send them another email, just a sort of gentle tap on the shoulder. Hey, forget about me? Is everything alright? You good? But I questioned how useful this would actually be. My last email ended with a question. Devil should know how to respond. Sending another email might seem... Clingy didn't feel the right word, but it came to mind. Whatever. Could worry about that later. For now, I had actual things to deal with. I had secured a meeting. Put my phone back in my pocket. Alright then. I felt weird about going to this meeting. It seemed kind of like a bad idea for a few reasons, but I wanted answers. This person probably had them, or at least this felt like the best way to get them. So concerns aside, this meeting was for the best. For taking a deep breath, I crossed the street. We were meeting at a restaurant, Smith's. It was, in fact, not a bad place to get a bite. Apparently this meeting was infringing on lunchtime. So to accommodate him, we settled on meeting at a place like this. I wasn't exactly hungry or anything, but whatever. Meeting at a restaurant felt fine to me. Better than at my place. Made my way to the front door. As I entered, I found that there weren't really that many customers. Guess this place was underrated. Glad to see it's still open, though. I looked around for a bit. There. I spotted him. Began making my way over. Finally, I stood right beside him. Sat casually on one side of a diner's table was Kane Shea. Oh no, this fucker. Oracle reporter. I wanted to scoop on all things Panthea. This was a good place to go. Kane was pretty plugged in. Though looking at him, you wouldn't know it. Right now, instead of being on his phone as you might expect, Kane was staring intently at a newspaper folded in front of him. In one hand, he held a pen. I figured I should introduce myself. Kane Shea, right? Briefly, Kane looked up from the paper. Guilty. And you're Eris, Loretta's sister, right? Yes, I am. Cool. Take a seat in front of me. I'll be more talkative in just a second. Okay. Feeling a little awkward, I sat down. It's funny, I didn't take you for a big reader of physical newspapers. Well, this place had 'em. Had to kill time. I'm not late, am I? No, I just like getting to the scene early. Uh-huh. Give me 1 second, I'm almost done with this crossword. Crosswords? Seriously? Keeps the brain sharp. Hey, actually, maybe you can help me with this one. The action of summoning a great power, be it evil or good. 10 letters. First letter is I, fifth is C, second to last is O. I racked my brain. Invocation? Yeah, that's exactly, thank you. Invocation. That's it. Quickly, Kane began scribbling letters down, and he continued, filling in a few more spots. Finally, the puzzle was completely filled. There we go. Sorry for wasting your time like that. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, see? Don't like leaving a puzzle unfinished is all. I understand that perfectly. For my part, I was ready to just jump into the business. However, it seemed as though we had been seated at a table for too long. A waiter, noticing us, walked over. Well, howdy, folks. What can I do for you two today? Do you think you're ready to order? I don't know, Eris. You know what you want? I shook my head reluctantly. I'm okay. I don't think I want to order anything. Really? Came all this way, you're not gonna have anything? I'm good. Come on, just have something. Meal's on me. Free meal. Can't pass that up, right? Pushing the matter any further wasn't worth it. Fine. Okay, I'll just have a glass of milk, please. The waiter nodded. Glass of milk. Glass of milk. Perfect. And you, darling? Me? Think I'll have a plain cheeseburger, medium rare. Side of fries. Just a glass of water to drink. Plain cheeseburger, that means no toppings? Exactly. Okay. So, glass of milk for the lady, plain cheeseburger, side of fries, and water for the gentleman. Do I have that right? I think so. Perfect. I'll get that order for you in a jiffy. And like that, the waiter left. Well, now I was bound by the laws of social societal politeness to at least stay in this conversation until I got my glass of milk. Great. Whatever, doesn't really matter. I straightened myself in my seat and looked at Kane. So, Mr. Kane Shea. First off, I'd just like to thank you for meeting me here. I understand with you being a journalist and editor and all, you've likely got a very busy schedule. And of course, we don't really know each other. So if you'd actually take the time to come and meet with me to answer some random strangers' questions, that's very considerate of you. So, thanks. Hey, don't mention it. I've been eating too many of my meals by myself. I was getting lonely. And hey, I'm always happy to answer questions. Big fan of information right here. Honestly, when I heard about this, I was a little flattered. I mean, out of everybody, you reached out to me. Well, you are kind of the person in the know about Panthea. That might be true. There's plenty of journalists out there. More to the point, I've always gotten the vibe that your sister doesn't think too fondly of me. Maybe I'm just imagining that. But I doubt it. I shrugged. Right. Well, know that I'm not my sister. We're different people. Different opinions. And to be honest, I'd be lying if I said I was your #1 fan or something. But I've got respect for you. Respect that you know a lot of things. I wondered if Kane would notice that for this whole spiel I'd been lying through my teeth. Turns out he didn't. Glad to hear, glad to hear. Well then, alright. Should we get to business? Okay then. I thought for a second. Part of me wanted to just cut to the chase. However, for a few reasons, that seemed like the wrong tact. From the looks of it, I'd get at least a few good questions. Better to approach it like... So, Mr. Shea, Kane's fine. Kane, then. That's gotta be Kane! Obviously, you are the lead writer, editor, CEO, basically just the boss of the popular news site, The Oracle. This has been established. Right. I've read the odd article from The Oracle. Why, thank you. But some people online have criticized The Oracle in a variety of ways. Oh, really? News to me. Ha, ha, ha. But seriously, people have issues with The Oracle. Some say that it's overly biased, that some articles overlook important facts or misrepresent some statistics to try and force erroneous narratives. Put it bluntly, a lot of people say that you're a government stooge. Bluntly? Try rudely. Sorry, I don't mean to offend. Hey, I ain't offended. You know how many comments a day I read? My skin's thick as shit. I'm just surprised that you treat the person you're trying to get info out of like this. Seems like a questionable tactic in most circumstances. Yeah, well, I don't like to dance around things. Runs in the family, apparently. Anyway, some people have gone as far as to say you're being paid off by the current administration. I wish. Is that what you're gonna ask me? I don't buy into that conspiracy crap. What I do know is that, from an economic perspective, there's a lot of people who want to hear what you're selling. I do buy into human economics. So I ask, out of pure curiosity, person to person, are you authentic? Do you legit believe the narrative you're pushing? A scowl formed on Kane's face. Apparently this was the question that set him off. I'm sorry? Don't be. I'm just ticked off that everyone seems to be questioning my legitimacy. Can have an angle while still being legitimate, you know? So yes, much of a surprise as it may be, I actually do believe in what I'm saying. Really? Is that so hard to believe? I just think you're a pretty smart guy, Kane. Why, thank you. I think you'd know when you're misrepresenting facts. When the articles you're put out aren't fair. That's... Kane sighed. Okay, look, maybe not all my arguments are 100% flawless. That's because, like I've always said, I believe in Panthea. I want it to be a great city. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with a bit of Panthean pride? Feels like that's a rarer and rarer commodity around here. But you acknowledge it has its faults. Eris, every city has its faults. You want to hear about Panthea's faults, go to any other news site. Go to that Hackbox campaign rallies. But you know, there's so much negativity that so much is overlooked, taken for granted. Is Olimpo perfect? No. It also is consistently making large technological advances and is supplying the city with an unfathomable amount of jobs. Duats suck, and it is outrageous that the police have failed to effectively hamper their expansion. At the very least, crime in the whole is on a huge decline. Panthea is, at its core, a good city. People can make their mark. Not enough people see it that way. You know that pop star, Tale? She's actually Panthean born. Really? Yeah, seriously. But she doesn't publicize that fact because Panthea's got such a mixed reception on the national scale. Wait, seriously? I thought Panthea was actually looked upon pretty favorably outside of its own bubble. It's a mixed bag. I'm just saying, if she was from Aurea, you know we'd hear about that. It's because you want Panthea to be viewed as this great place, you prop it up with propaganda. Now hold on, propaganda is a bit harsh. Don't you think it'd be better to challenge it? To force it to actually be better? Kane didn't seem to have an answer to this. Instead, he just slumped back into his seat. Huh. This is an interesting response. You're not wrong. Look, in some ways, I'm my own biggest critic. I have trouble believing that. Okay, maybe I'm over-exaggerating a bit. But look, I see the other side of things. And I mean, the image I have created has snowballed in some unfortunate ways. People who apply to actually work at the Oracle are not always the best possible candidates. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm the boss. I have final say. The blame of my subordinates falls to me. But to put it one way, well, most of the stories I'm actually ashamed about, the ones people who give the Oracle shit use as evidence, they weren't written by me. For my primary audience, a lot of them aren't people I'd actually like to hang out with. I nodded. Think I understand what you're getting at. Think I might actually even have a bit of sympathy. Kane shrugged. Well, I made my bet. This is me laying it. If it's worth anything, I recently put out a statement about how I'm going to try and lead the Oracle into a better state of things. Most people dismissed it as a PR move, and fair enough, but between you and me, I was being honest. Well, there you go. That's the most you can ask for. Yeah, well, we'll see. Something tells me the changes aren't going to be enough for most people. I mean, I'm pretty sure on a fundamental level, I still disagree with a lot of my critics on some stuff. But I hope that answers your question. It does, thank you. Great. Then I guess it's my turn. Huh? Your turn? Yeah, my turn. What, you got a problem with that? More general lack of understanding towards what exactly you mean by that. Simple. Think you're the only one looking for information? No. I mean, you're taking up my time. Only fair I get something out of this as well. Well, then I say we go tit for tat on the questions. You ask me something. I ask you something. We both learn, we both leave happy. Sound good to you? Being honest, I hadn't expected this response. But if it would keep Kane content. Well, I don't think I really know that much that would actually be interesting to someone like you. But I don't see a problem with it. So, sure, I guess. Great. So for my question, what's the deal with your sister? Huh? What's the deal? Yeah, she and I have crossed paths a couple of times now. I got curious. Decided to look into her. Stumbled onto her site. There are a ton of reviews on it, too. Overwhelmingly positive. Such a star investigator, I was surprised that I hadn't heard of her earlier. Must not be as knowledgeable as you thought you were. Or did you make her site as a cover identity? Must be. I just wanted to get her to know her a bit better. I decided to try and reach out to some of the people who procured her services earlier. Check in on their experience. Funnily enough, I was having trouble getting in contact with any of them. In fact, I was having trouble confirming that those cases even ever happened in the first place. Damn. Okay, first off, you were researching my sister. What's up with that? Kinda creepy, if you ask me. Creepy? You heard me. Jeez. For your information, I'm a journalist. I look for scoops. It's my job to look into people. As a matter of fact, I was looking to put together a rather glowing piece on the Verna. Like I buy that for a second. Genius detective of Panthea, crime beware. Remind everybody that this city is full of talented individuals. Maybe make them feel a bit safer. Well, regardless, the Herd is pretty incompetent when it came to things tech-related. She's getting started up, she came to me to help get her website up and running. And you helped her out. How sweet. For a fee. Anyways, when I did it, it felt a bit bare. I mean, no reviews. That didn't feel good. So, you know, I weighed the scale with a number of positive reviews that were perhaps less than legitimate. Depending on which reviews you reached out to, that could explain things. Fake reviews? My. That seems questionably legal. Oh, it's fine. Or at least it's set up in a way that a case against me would be extremely difficult to prosecute. Huh. How naughty. Please don't say that word in the future. Fine? Daddy, chill. Okay, then. So by the rules, it's my turn. Okay, don't put it like that. Why? It just seems like I'm being arcane or unreasonable. They're not rules. It's a rule. And it's not a rule, it's a suggestion. We trade questions. And that's not an unreasonable suggestion. You're getting awful defensive there. I don't have a problem with the suggestion. Anyways, forget it. Let's just move on. I want to know more about a specific employee who used to work for you at the Oracle. Oh? Well then, fire away. Do you remember J.C. Nazir? J.C. Nazir? Ah, yeah. Right. J.C. Sweet girl. You. What? Okay, no, I wasn't saying it like that. Really? Yes, really. I was just legitimately calling her a sweet girl. I liked her a lot. Platonically. Alright, well, if that's true, you have to work on your vocabulary. First, naughty, and then sweet girl. I think you're just reading into things a bit too much. Anyway, yeah, remember Miss Nazir? I had a lot of respect for her. Professionally. I mean, really, you could... Fair point of the vocabulary thing, you could have said, I liked her professionally instead of platonically. To get out of that hole completely. I'm a journalist, and very ambitious, I like that. We didn't always see eye to eye on everything, but I view that as a good thing. It's important to have people who keep you in check. Frankly, I could use a lot more people like her nowadays. Okay then. In that case, would you mind telling me what you know about her disappearance? Her disappearance, huh? That was tragic. I don't know what exactly you're asking about. Just, I don't know. Do you have any ideas about it? Was she acting weird beforehand? Mention anything to you? On any particularly dangerous investigations? Let me see. It was a while back, so I don't know how much I remember. Kane scratched his head. Well, JC always played what articles she was working on fairly close to her chest. Annoying as an employee in exactly that one way. She also liked to juggle a couple of projects at once. But at that time, I think she was launching a big inquest on Olimpo. Trying to dig up dirt on it, expose it in some way. Your beloved Olimpo. And you were okay with that. I let her investigate because I was confident she wouldn't find anything worthwhile. And if she did, well then, like it or not, we'd have a moral obligation to run it. Anyways, beyond that... Sorry, I got nothing for you. Alright then. Aw, man. Hope she's alright, wherever she is. Yeah, I don't think she survived the murder boat. Wherever she is? You think she's alive? Me? I'd like to think so. I mean, the idea to come up with some conspiracy about how she was disappeared is tempting and all. Hell, I might fall into that trap. But I doubt it. And why's that? Back then, a little bit after she disappeared, I want to say about 9 days after, I had to check her work email. Maintenance thing, standard procedure. Anyways, when I was on her account, I noticed that she had gotten an email as recently as a day ago. And it was red. Really? Oh, huh. This was news to me. And is it possible that somebody else opened that mail? Another of JC's devices, maybe. It was company policy to only have her open your work email at the office. so I wouldn't think so. Huh. I mean, it's all speculative. For all I know, somebody decided to hack into her email account somehow. Maybe she logged in elsewhere and then was killed shortly after that. If you ask me. I always figured that something just forced her to go on the run, and she moved to another city or something. I nodded, taking in everything. Well, that's just my belief, though. Sorry to say, I haven't honestly given it that much thought. That's fair enough. Honestly, you've already given me more than enough. Nice. Alright then. Your turn. Hooray. I didn't really think of my questions in advance. I don't really know what to ask you. You could just pass your turn. No, that seems like a waste. Alright, I've got it. What's your angle, lady? Excuse me? I think I was pretty clear. You called me out here. Asking about my general beliefs? Alright, fair enough. Sensible question. Asking about JC and Isaiah? That's not haphazard. That's pointed. That's the mark of someone here with an agenda. Agenda? Isn't that a bit dramatic? Life's dramatic. And also, everybody always has an agenda. Doesn't always have to be nefarious, doesn't have to be thought out, but people always have them. And I'd like to know them. That's how you make your living, I suppose. Gives me a better idea of how to broach conversations. It's also just generally a handy thing to know. A natural thing to wonder about. I tapped my fingers on the table, eyes closed. For a moment, I considered how to answer. Then I just shrugged. I don't know. Come on. I'm serious. I don't know why I've taken such an interest in any of this. Boredom, I guess. Didn't have much else to do. Spent a lot of time on the internet. Don't say anything. Anyways, I stumbled across some things. They felt weird to me. Decided to look into them more. Then I poked into them more. And more. And well, now I'm here. Guess if I had to put it in a word, it'd be curiosity. I guess that's probably not a very satisfying answer to you. Kane shook his head. Nope. I get it. You're like your sister. What? Yeah, this is what this is. You both like solving mysteries. You like feeling like you're arriving at some sort of truth. She's just embraced that interest a lot more fully than you, and a lot more dramatically than you. Believe me, I am nothing like my sister. The fact that you can say that with a straight face when you literally look like the same person is fascinating to me. Okay, physically we're alike, whatever. That's as far as the similarities go. Well, you talk like a normal person. That's a difference. I appreciate that. Although I think I find Laverna just a bit more fun. Oh well, I'm sorry I can't be as fun as her. Hey, ease up. Relax. I'm just pulling your chain a bit. Whatever. I answered your question, right? I'd say that counts, yeah? Good. In that case, it's my turn again. Okay, so. I had beaten around the bush for long enough. I should prioritize important questions now. Who knows how many more I'd get. What I needed to do right now was to follow up on the information I had gotten from that phone. There were a lot of ways to do that. There was one part of Polly and Art's conversation that stood out like a sore thumb. That was, who did JC trust? What? It's a simple question. You know she was just your employee. As you've demonstrated, you know her decently well. I'm just wondering, in your opinion, who do you think she trusted quite a lot? Huh. That's an odd question. I have to say, how could this possibly matter? Everything in that phone was to be believed, an assumption in itself on several levels, and somebody had left JC in the hands of the Duats. Art had said it must have been somebody who trusted a fair bit, and Polly said it wasn't him. Polly was far from out of the woods in my eyes, but on this specific point I was more inclined to believe him than not. So if I'm recalling the summary of events from that text conversation between Polly and Art, Polly had a tryst with someone who was good friends with JC, and Polly claimed that good friend he'd had a tryst with, they'd ended things amicably and settled. But now JC was looking into things and trying to expose what Polly was doing and was going to get Friend to talk. Despite having settled things, quote-unquote, amicably with Polly, and Polly was getting nervous and talking to Art about ways to handle this, using Art's connections. So if I were to assemble all the possibilities, knowing who JC could have conceivably trusted was an important piece. Does it matter? Just answer the question. Jeez. I was going to answer anyways. I need to be cold about it. I'm sorry. No, you're not, but whatever. Let's see. Once more, Kane slumped back in his chair, thoughtful expression crossing his face. Geez, really asking me to stretch my memory. Well, I can say this. As I said, I liked JC quite a bit. She was very amicable, friendly on the outside. She knew how to get you talking about yourself. As any social psychologist worth their salt would tell you, that's how you get people to like you. Underneath that, it always seemed to me that JC was actually a very untrusting person. Always skeptical, suspicious of everyone else's intentions. It's not a bad quality, especially for a journalist. It's making remembering many people she actually trusted kind of hard. I see. Well, I can tell you who she wouldn't trust pretty easily. For one, she wouldn't trust any of her suspects for an instant. Or subjects. Though for an investigative journalist, I suppose there's not much of a difference. Even if it didn't look like someone had an angle, if they were directly involved in a story of hers, she thought they had an angle. Similarly, she never trusted any of her sources. Even if they were giving her good information, she took it with a grain of salt. She considered why they were giving her that information in the first place. She might act close with them, but to her, the difference between a source and a suspect was nominal. And you know, she didn't even trust any of her colleagues. That includes you. Shame to say, yeah. Again, very friendly. From the sounds of things, you're asking about who'd she'd truly trust. Then yeah, nobody at the Oracle. Nobody at any news publication, I'd wager. The point is, if she was going to really trust anybody, I'd guess it was somebody completely unrelated to her work. Or at least somebody she thought was unrelated to her work. Gotcha. Okay, thank you for that. That answers my question well enough. Ah, good to hear. Being honest, I was worried I hadn't given enough there. I was really just scraping the bits of memory I retained. So then my turn to ask a question. Yep. Ask away. Whatever you want to know, I'll tell. Ring. Took me a second to realize that the ring was coming from my pocket. Oh, fucking. Perfect. Just perfect. Absolutely perfect timing. Just had to happen when I was in the middle of an important conversation. Cool. Cool, so cool. I sighed. Sorry, Kane. Should I take this? Oh, yeah, of course. Go right ahead. Thank you. I'm going to stand up and move away from the table. It seemed to surprise Kane, though. Oh. Well, nothing. I just didn't know you were getting up. Yeah, sorry. No offense, but I think this is going to be a call about a private matter. If you don't mind, I want to take this in the bathroom. To be honest, I had no idea what this call would be about. I didn't even have any clue who was calling. And even still, I could guess I didn't want Kane eavesdropping on it. Sure. Say, could I use my question to have you let me listen in on that conversation of yours? I mean, you could. Kane smiled. And he waved his hand dismissively. Just messing with you. Do your thing. I nodded. And I turned away from him. Began making my way to the restroom. Where was it? Damn, I had not been to this place enough. I need to get out more. It took a second to scan the restaurant. Then after a few seconds, I saw the bathroom area. Great. Made my way across the place. Then I got to the area. Instead of having a men's and women's restroom, this place just had two unlabeled unisex rooms. Well, works for me. I entered the closest room and locked the door behind me. Gosh, this place was filthy. Gross. Graffiti all over the walls. This tile on the wall was all cracked down the sides. I tried pushing on it, and with the lightest force, it moved away. Behind the tile, there was this little hidey hole. A completely normal-looking pen was stuck in there. What? Weird. Well, finders keepers. Someone thought I grabbed it and put it in my pocket. Wasn't I in here for a reason? Oh, right. The call. At this point, the caller had probably called me 3 successive separate times. What's persistence? Considering that, it's probably... Put out the ringing phone from my pocket. Sure enough, Baldera's name was across the screen. Baldera? Yep. Took a second to check the back of my phone just to double check which one this was. And I clicked the accept call button. Hey, it's Baldera. Instantly. This was instant. Hi, Baldera. This is Eris, right? I have the right number? No, it's Laverna. Why are you calling me when I'm in the middle of detective work? Seriously? Oh, so sorry. This is my bad. I thought you know since you said you couldn't come. Relax. I'm messing with you, Baldera. It's Eris. Seriously? Dang it, Eris, that's mean. I'm sorry. Seriously. I really can't tell your two voices apart. But you two gave your parents all sorts of trouble. Not really. That implied we were on the same page than something. Anyways, you called me? Oh, right. So, Laverna told me you were handling things. You mean cracking the phone you found at the Themis place? You know, phrasing it the way you did makes it sound 10 times more sketchy than it actually is. Sorry. But, yeah, exactly that. I was just curious how it was coming along. Coming along? I got into that thing a while ago. Seriously? Yep. That's what I'm talking about. So wait, what was on there? Nothing all that interesting. Seriously? I mean, there's some fun stuff here and there. It's a real look into the mind of Polly. From a criminal perspective? Nah, I didn't see anything all that compelling. Well, shoot. That's kind of a bummer. And I really thought we'd find something good there. This is really a crapshoot. Pretty much. But hey, that's just my amateurized opinion. I'll be giving it back to Laverna soon enough. She'll probably debrief you in a more official capacity. Alright then. Sounds good, Eris. Just checking in. Thanks for the help. Not a problem. And hey, Baldera? Good on you for taking a risk like this. I mean, going behind the man's back like this? Stick it to the man, play it by your own rules. I think it's pretty badass. Really? Well, thank you, Eris. That means quite a bit. You're welcome. I'm gonna get back to my meal. You just do that. And hey, give me a call whenever you feel like chatting or click. Oh, waste of time. Oh well. I don't need friends, I have Reddit. At least it wasn't bad news. I was half expecting bad news. Anyways, let's get back to Kane. Still wanted to finish that conversation we had. I left the restaurant and made my way back to where we were previously seated. There I could see that while I had gone, our meal had come. Kane's meal. Well, my milk had come. Kane's meal had come, and he was taking no time waiting to enjoy it. Already, he was shoveling fries in his mouth at a kind of disgusting rate. And who starts with the fries before the burger? I took my seat again. Seriously? What? Having a conversation. I'm hungry. Yeah, and I'm having a meal. Hey, you're the one who wanted to talk to me during my lunch. With this to work, I'm gonna have to eat. Fine. Just chew before speaking. What are you, my mom? Instead of responding, I just took a healthy sip of milk. Refreshing. Calcium. Though there was a slight tang to the taste. How was your call? It was fine. Everything all right? Of course. Why, what makes you think otherwise? Oh, nothing. Just, you didn't feel comfortable taking it in front of me. But that might be about sensitive matters. It was. But it wasn't bad news. Good news, then. Neutral news. Ah, I see. Well, that's good. Neutral, I should say. Can you get back to my question now, please? Let's. Awesome. I had some time to think while you were gone. Think you have a good one. Kane reached into his pocket, and he threw his hand out on the table. Out rolled 3 die. What? What's this? Die. Pulls out gun. Die. Perfect cubicle die. Did you know the numbers on every set of opposite sides add up to 7? Yes, I knew that. Could I ask why this is relevant? You don't get a question yet. Kane. Kane, that was your question. Now this is my question. Hey, look, what can I say? A lot of questions I actually want to know the answer to. At least questions I would think you'd reasonably know. Blame yourself for being uninteresting. Gee, thanks. Instead, my question is going to be more like a puzzle. Get it right, we continue. Wrong, and the back and forth ends here. Seriously. What motivates something like this? It's fun? Besides, I'm going to be wasting my time. I feel a lot better about wasting my time with smart people. Oh, come on. You in? You out? In, I guess. I still at least had one more question I needed answered before I felt comfortable leaving. Until then, I'd have to indulge Kane's nonsense. Awesome. So this gonna be deduction, or... Let's get started then. Kane reached out and grabbed the die. Logic. He began stacking them and shielded the stack with his hands. Then he gripped onto the stack with one fist. So inside my fist, I've stacked the 3 die in a tower. Tell me, how many die faces cannot be seen, no matter where you look? None, so long as you hold it like that. Ha ha. I mean, normally. Fine. 5. The top die's bottom face, the 2 faces between the top and the middle die, 2 faces between the middle and the bottom die. The bottom die's bottom face. Excellent. Have I answered your question now? Of course not, that was just a warm-up. What you'll tell me is, right now, what is the cumulative total of those 5 hidden die faces in this tower? Oh, don't worry, you get more information. Look at this. Kane gripped his fist around the die tighter and picked the tower up in his fist. Then he turned his hand towards me, showing the top die's top face. It was a 1. That's a 6 on the bottom, 7 on the middle die, 13. Showing me, he put the tower back down, continuing to hide it. There you go. That's it? What, can't solve it? No, you're right. The question's too mean as is. Here's another hint. No touching faces are the same digit. That's still too hard, isn't it? Alright, here's another hint. Sum total of the top 2 touching faces is larger than the sum total of the bottom 2 touching faces. One more hint. The digits in the topmost and bottommost faces in the tower don't show up on any of the touching faces. There you go. Now solve it. Okay. Oh, how annoying. I guess I should try and solve it. The added value would be... What? Oh, one final little thing about having a train of logic. Sometimes when you reach the end of that old dusty road, you're going to have to put the final piece together yourself. And I really mean by yourself, so you'll sometimes be presented with a prompt where you have to type in the correct answer. But it's fine if you've been following along with the logic up until that point. You'll be fine, it'll be easy. Let me just pull open a notepad here. Get ready to type. Alright, that's it. I just wanted to let you know. I'm thoughtful like that. Could have let you just figure it out yourself, but I decided to check in with you. That's how you know I care. Alright. Oh, this fucking riddle of Kane's. What a pain in the ass. Well, there must be something to all this. Noticing faces share the same digit. I'm gonna go to solving the puzzle. So sum total the top 2 touching faces. 1 on top, X. A. B. 1 on top, which means you have a 6 on the bottom of the top die. So in reality, you're going to have to... We're going to have 6 digits in total to figure out here. We have 2 of them. No touching faces share the same digit. So the top face was a 1, so the first touching face is a 6. The 2 faces of the middle die are add up to 7. We know that. We know that the top face of the bottom die. Oh, this is kind of ridiculous. And that rules out so much. There are 2 instances of touching faces, so we know something about both cases. Since two of the faces are opposite to each other, that gives us more information. Start putting together possibilities. Before you know it, this whole thing will be solved. Probably. Weird, I'm not solving the whole thing instantly. Shit. That we now know that the higher faces have a higher total than the lower faces. At the same time, we know now that they aren't the same, or else they'd be equal. That narrows it down, kind of, sort of. Just gotta think harder. And why would Cain give the puzzle without those hints? An impossible puzzle is no fun. It looked like he was content to ask it without those hints. Thus, I might not need those hints to solve the puzzle. Let's try and focus on the stuff surrounding those hints and see where we go from here. Let's go simple as possible. What do I know? Or rather, what do I know that's useful? I know that Cain bought the dice. Cain chose how to arrange the tower. I feel like this is the way to go. Opposite sides of die add up to 7. Considering that many of the faces Cain was asking about were opposites, that seems particularly relevant. What else helps? Top face was a 1, so then... Surely it's not so simple. Oh my god. Yeah, the other hints really don't matter. We have 2 die with hidden faces. That's 7, 7, 14. Top die is a 1, 6. So it's 20. Got it. Okay, that is actually kind of a clever riddle. As random as it was in practice, that was actually kind of a clever riddle. Wait, Cain was more annoying than I gave him credit for. 20. Hey, what do you know? You're no slower than your detective sister. Could you stop with the comparisons to my sister? It's seriously starting to irritate me. For that matter, what's with giving me all those hints after the fact? None of them are remotely necessary or helpful for coming up with the answer. But just show me the top face and be done with it. I mean, I could have. But what's the fun in that? I'd like to implement a little thing called noise. Noise. Yeah, noise. It's a game theory term. Basically, it means throwing in wholly unnecessary or seemingly random information. In chess, it's the equivalent of purposely throwing out a bad move to get in your opponent's head. Basically, people tend to try to fit everything into a narrative. Completely random information can throw off their whole perspective on things. Huh. Interesting. I hadn't heard about this before. Yeah, well, most people dismiss noise, usually because they just don't think to implement it. I have found, especially against smart people, noise is a good way to shake things up. I guess my point is, if I ever committed a murder, I'd probably just do a bunch of random shit to weird the investigators out. Dark place to bring it, but point taken. Anyways, turns out some noise wasn't enough to throw me off. So it seems. Well then, I cede the floor to you. Your question. Right. Okay. I danced around it for long enough. When it got down to it, there was one thing I was really curious about. One thing I wanted to know. He'd probably definitely think something was weird with this question. But so be it. Had to be asked. Cain. What do you know about the man jet? Cain took a moment to process this. Then he gave a slight smile. The man jet, huh? Well now, isn't that just an ancient name? You know it? Kinda, yeah. I'm more curious as to why you know of it. Maybe you can use your question on that. For now, it's my turn. Hey, I hear ya. Let's see. But very simply, the man jet is a big ship. You should do a lot of trading. At least that's the official story. And the real story. It's a poorly kept secret that the man jet was owned and operated by the Duats. Presumably for nefarious purposes. Fill in the specific blanks yourself. Criminals can use big boats for a lot of purposes. With a gun to my head, I'd guess smuggling drugs, but hey, that's just where my head goes. The fact is, it is in truth owned by the Duats. Used to do a lot of seafaring. Used to. Yeah, this is the past I'm talking about. Nowadays, mostly stays on Panthean shores. Don't know why they stopped doing things with it, but they did. Now it's parked at some off-the-path Panthean pier. Wait, parked? Do you call a boat parked? That doesn't seem right. Harbored? Anchored? Harbored, I think. Ah, fuck it. Doesn't matter. Yeah, you're only a journalist. Who cares about words? Watch it. Anyway, yeah, the ship doesn't do much nowadays. Technically, it's private property, though I hear a lot of stupid teens like to try and break in and run around on it. Really? Yeah, I think it's a stupid dare sort of thing. You know, with the haunting rumors and whatnot. Test of courage. Whoa, you just passed by the phrase haunting rumors pretty quickly. Yeah, well, that's about the time haunting rumors deserve. Or what, do you believe in ghosts, Eris? Answer yourself as awfully spiritual. Of course not. I'm interested in rumors. They often have a hint of truth. Or disagree. People just straight up make shit up all the time. I'm a journalist. I know these things. If you're interested, there are rumors about the ship being haunted. People hearing wailing spirits. People who snuck aboard seeing ghosts. Shit like that probably stems from the reputation of the ship's duad history. Huh. Say, would you happen to have the address of the pier the ship stayed at? I mean, not by memory. Probably on my phone, though. Why? Plan on going on a ghost hunting trip? Me? God, no. I'll send someone else to do it. Seems totally unpleasant. Still, I'd like the info. You'd probably look it up yourself. But, I'll do it. Give me a second. Kane took out a sheet of paper from his pocket. He also took his phone. After a bit, he began writing. Then he handed me a crumpled up note. Thank you. Then I got up from my seat. Well, that's probably enough. I'm very grateful that you took the time out of your day to meet with me. No problem. This was fun, really. You should do it again sometime. You know what, I might just do that. I began to walk away, but before I could leave, Kane spoke up. My question. Hey, wait a second. Since you asked the question first, and you asked the question last, you end up getting one more question in than me. Ah, guess you're right. Doesn't that seem a little unfair? It does. That settled, I continued to walk away. Power move. I had gotten what I wanted. Well. I think we can officially call it. Eris has truly entered the real world. True, the anonymity and safety provided by the internet was nice for a time, but now the flesh space holds the secrets she desires. It's a sad but true realization to come to, understanding that we must interact with the meat zone to get what we desire. I sympathize, I really do. Want to know what the greatest power you have online is? Anonymity. No, not just anonymity. So easily do you hide your true name. You don't believe in the power of the true name. And unlike those fools who were invested in the Fate universe. But it matters. In Egyptian mythology, the god Isis learned the true name of Ra through a devious trick. Because of that, Isis was able to gain complete power over Ra, which used to put her son, Horus, on the throne. Plenty of religions believe in the power of the true name of God. Power man shouldn't use casually. It's the law of names through and through. Knowledge of one's true name allows you to control them, magically. Perform a sorcerer's spell on someone, you must know their true name. To beat Rumpelstiltskin, you need to name him. To beat Nyx, you need to name it. There are practical uses, too. Be royal cryptographs or cutting-edge computer firewalls. If you know the true name, security crumbles. There's a clear distinction. If you know somebody's true name, you have power over them. If you don't, they have power over you. Case in point, I know your true name, but you don't know mine. Who do you suppose has the power? That's not your true name, though. Cheeky devil. Cheeky devil. Are you locked? You're locked with a silver lock at Eris 6. I'm really curious where Eris is going in the meat space. And how Eris relates to Mercury now. We are starting to connect Eris with Mercury. We still don't know if there's a connection between Mercury and fake Thane, but it is heavily implied that these two stories have been connected from the start. Suppose we will see there. You know that originally Mercury was looking into JC's disappearance. somehow. Somehow these two are linked. I'm curious to see how. We'll find out next time. Until next time, until then, thanks for watching.